One thing I love about the world and about humans is no matter where you go, people will find some kind of way to get high. We have to. The pain of existence is just too much.
Sri Lanka. It's called the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. In 2019, Lonely Planet ranked it the world's top travel destination, saying, endless beaches, welcoming people, oodles of elephants, cheap prices, fun trains, and flavorful food make Sri Lanka irresistible. But that was 2019.
Sri Lanka's energy minister says the country has no money left to pay for fuel imports.
Most Sri Lankans are struggling under escalating costs.
Sri Lanka is in a mess.
Now in 2022, there exists a much, much different Sri Lanka. It started with a domestic terrorist attack in 2019 that spread fear among would-be travelers. Then in 2020, the pandemic, grinding tourism to a halt. Now in 2022, Sri Lanka is undergoing an economic crisis like few countries have experienced before. Prices for essential goods, everything from rice to fuel to medicine, have doubled, then tripled, then continued rising. Food is in short supply, and so is fuel, causing long lines at the pump, leaving citizens waiting for hours. With Sri Lankans caught in a turbulent storm of strife and uncertainty, citizens of all backgrounds took the only action they could. Eventually, storming the presidential palace, forcing President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee. 2 weeks later, and I showed up. Touching down in the capital city of Columbo, I'm here in Sri Lanka for the first time, on a mission to discover its food and to share it with the world.
First of all, Sri Lanka or Sri Lanka?
It's Sri Lanka.
From Colombo, I'm traveling to the central highlands to the city of Kandy, then driving to the northernmost city of Jaffna.
Smells a bit fishy here.
Of course, it's a fish market.
Oh, okay.
I'm in search of the hidden stories of food and culture.
This is not something that anybody in Sri Lanka can just go around and hunt. These guys have special privileges and special rights to continue their lifestyle, their way of life.
Like eating with the Veda.
Pulling out this fat from the butt. No. He's telling me right now, hey, don't eat it. It's not sushi. Yeah, don't worry. I wasn't even tempted.
The original inhabitants of this island, still living today like they lived years ago.
Ondamai! Oh, we found Mark Wien's match. Look at that yummy face. What is going on here?
Biggest festival of Jaffna.
The Tamil people of Jaffna, with a month-long festival full of food.
That was a mistake.
And some unexplainable phenomena.
I can't help but notice there's so many people here who have a lump on the back of their neck. Are women into that?
The Malay people of Kandy, with impossible to find home cooking that may soon go extinct.
For me, eating intestines, especially of a cow, it's like Russian roulette. I put the gun to my mouth, I slowly pull the trigger, and...
What happened?
Then there's the capital.
Oh my God, it's water, bro.
The melting pot of Sri Lanka's minority tastes all in one city.
We eat this because instead of cheese, this gives that flavor.
Yeah, guys, it's a cheese replacement. It's a cow brain.
Guiding me on our journey, local Sri Lankan Susanne.
Yeah, right.
She's made it her mission to share with the world all that Sri Lankan food has to offer.
Susanne says you are the best Malay food cooker she knows in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, definitely.
She said, yeah, definitely.
At a time when travelers are taking a rain check on Sri Lanka, my team and I are diving in head first.
Right now, there's a food shortage. Who is this affecting the most?
I'm not coming here in search of conflict. I'm coming here in spite of
It
it.
looks like a puffer fish. Is that yummy?
And to show you, amidst painful challenges and adversity,
They created this tripod. Oh, off with the tripod.
this pearl will shine again.
Do I put it under here?
It all begins here. In Colombo, the meal that unites all ages, all professions, all people is rice and curry. In shops like this, the curry selection seems endless. Here at Lunu Marisa, lunch is about to begin.
Good morning from Sri Lanka. I'm in the kitchen of a rice and curry shop, and this is going to be my first taste of Sri Lanka. Yeah. This place has a load of curries, including curries I have never heard of before. Right here, the preparation of a jackfruit curry.
Chop up the jackfruit meat, then throw that in a hot pan. Add coconut milk, onions, green chilies, curry leaves, and pandan leaves. Then season with salt, turmeric, curry powder, cinnamon, and mustard paste. In only 20 minutes, these sparkling flavors meld together as one.
Take a look at this. This is jackfruit that's not even ripe. It's still white. Huh? I did not ask, but she seems unbothered. It has a little bit of a tougher texture. It's not sweet. No flavors of jackfruit. If anything, it has a slight like kind of rind taste to it, like the green part of a watermelon. We're gonna find out why they're using that type soon. On this side, right here, we have a pork curry. Every time I go to India, I'm talking about India because that's where I've had the most curries in my life. Obviously, not many folks in India are eating beef, but I don't think I've ever had pork curry.
It's made with pork belly, shoulder, ribs, all tossed in a fiery cooking vessel, along with roasted curry powder and oil.
What kind of food does Sri Lankan food most often get compared to?
It's often compared to Indian cuisine, but we are so unique. It's different.
A delicate, volatile combination of components that make up a flavor bomb. Turmeric powder, roasted curry powder, chili powder, black pepper, salt, cardamom, garlic paste, something called Garcinia Cambogia, cinnamon, ginger, garlic, fried lemongrass, and the detonator, curry leaves.
Our food and our cuisine, especially the authentic Sri Lankan Sinhalese cuisine, has a lot of herbal properties and values. So it like really nourishes you, plus it heals you, mind, body and soul.
Joining me on my mission to understand Sri Lankan food and culture, Susanne, Sri Lankan local and food explorer.
I want to jump into this. This is jackfruit. Just how do I go for it? Just dig in.
It's really good, right?
I love it. The flavors slowly reveal themselves. The black stuff, is that a chili?
Yes, that's
Oh, great. I just bit into one of those directly. It doesn't taste like jackfruit at all. It just seems to be more about the texture. It has a nice kind of firm texture to it. Spicy. There's some aromatic flavors in there too. Oh, I'm making such a mess. How am I doing here? Good?
yeah.
And then here, I've never seen a pork curry ever in my life.
It's unique to Sri Lanka.
Are you a fan of this?
I haven't tried it.
Oh yeah, why not? Today could be the day.
No.
Susanne is Muslim, meaning she only eats halal food, and well, pork is not on that list.
This is some great pork. The spices are caked on there. It has a little bit of a bitterness to the spices. Not curious?
I'm not.
The texture of the pork is wonderful. I was thinking, is this something I maybe would have in Thailand? But I don't think so. Even though they eat a lot of pork there, this is one of a kind. I think you can only get this here. So good and an absolute first rate. It's so spicy too. My brain is boiling. I know that there's a lot of conflict here, there's a lot of issues. Stepping out of the airport, driving down the street, as a tourist, as someone who's not been here before, it is not immediately apparent that there's such strife here. But the irony is not lost on me that we're sitting here feasting,
Yes.
especially me as an outsider coming in, gorging on delicious Sri Lankan food, while a lot of people here can't afford food because the prices have doubled and tripled.
Right now, this island nation of 22 million is experiencing its worst economic crisis since its independence in 1948. Due to poor government management and the lingering effects of the pandemic, key foreign exchange earning sectors like exports, remittances, and tourism were all brutally hit.
Sri Lanka is in a mess.
For months, people here have suffered unpredictable blackouts and skyrocketing inflation, leading to shortages in food and fuel. Schools even had to cancel exams because paper was in such short supply.
Right now, there's a food shortage. Who is this affecting the most?
Actually, the farmers are the ones who are going through it all because they are trying their best to feed the nation, feed their families and do everything. So while we are feasting here, this kind of feasting you'll only see in urban cities. The moment you step out, which is the majority of Sri Lanka, you will see how it's affecting them because sometimes they don't even have one meal a day and they're going through it right now.
Jesus.
In hard times of grave uncertainty, some folks are taking whatever actions they can, whether just getting by from day to day to something much more extreme. Meanwhile, there are others who keep doing what they do best, sticking out the tough times until those times give in to better days.
Welcome to our next destination. This is the Ministry of Crab. This place is well-known, legendary, iconic for its seafood. Here you can see they have some clams. They have giant freaking shrimp like this. Oh, take a look at that. River prawns that weigh up to a pound or two. But that is not what they're known for. Of course, this place is known for the giant Sri Lankan mud crabs. Up here, they've got all the typical sizes from small to extra large, and then they've got jumbo, colossal, oh my god, and Crabzilla. That is what we're getting today. Take a look at this. This is my first look at it right now. This thing is a beauty. This is approximately 4 pounds of crab right here.
Burrowed deep in the soft, muddy base of Sri Lanka's mangroves, a large crustacean distinguished by its bluish-green hue.
It's not even attacking me. It's like very well behaved. It's polite.
A delicacy flown around the world more than Taylor Swift. Mainly in the form of exports to places like Singapore. A single one of these creatures can sell for hundreds of dollars.
This is like the Rock's bicep put into a cloth.
But for too long, these costly mud crabs weren't really eaten or appreciated in Sri Lanka. That was until 2011, when the Ministry of Crab was founded, utilizing this locally caught delicacy right in their own backyard.
So we are cooking the pepper crab. It's a famous dish in Singapore.
Meet Darshan Munidasa, a local chef of Sri Lankan and Japanese descent.
The pepper crab has been very prominent in Singapore's crab dishes, and what they do is something very, very dry. To be the opposite, I want to create a wet pepper crab. We take black pepper. This used to be black gold in Sri Lanka because long time ago, until the Europeans came here, we had no red chili in Asia. Huge crab, Crabzilla, and look at that. It's like almost like a steak. And to this, we add our magic black pepper stock. And this is where the flavor of the crab moves into the liquid, and that becomes our signature dish, the black pepper crab.
Leave it to steam for 20 minutes, and when the shell turns bright red, plate, serve, and enjoy.
How do you ensure that a crab is a premium crab?
Apart from coming from nature at a good level, you can grade it before it's cooked. So it's a selection process that makes the crabs good. From 100 crabs, maybe we will choose 30.
And then who eats the other ones? Your direct competitors? Are you always selling out of the Crabzilla?
Yes, it's a rarity to find one, and when we get it, it's a grace of God.
And today you just had one?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's my first one, I have to.
Everyone goes for the claw first. Ooh, that's almost like a steak.
Oh my god, it's so big. Here I go. I got a pretty good amount. Oh yeah. Wow. The flavor of that sauce is really just seeped into the meat so perfectly. It's so sweet, it's juicy. There is so much meat.
Like 400, 500 grams per claw.
You know, I love the idea of eating a spiny lobster, but really, there's no claws.
So these crabs walk with these,
yes.
It swims with these. Therefore, the biggest muscle is around that leg.
You want that? Sure. Oh my God. Oh.
I never get sick of this.
It's so good.
So these guys are really sweet and less textury, membraney.
I grew up in the Midwest, so I have the least experience in the USA when it comes to seafood. So nobody's like looking into the hips. They just want like the big legs and that's about it. But there is so much meat hidden in all of this. But it requires a little bit of skill, a little bit of patience, and some knowledge to know kind of where to break it. Wow, the sauce in here is tremendous. It's peppery, but it's delicate. It doesn't have some crazy intensity. Oh, it's mushroomy too. Are there mushrooms inside? Really? This is one of the best crabs I've ever had. You have restaurants all over the world. You've lived in many places outside of Sri Lanka. What keeps you here now?
This is home. This is an amazing place. Where else do you find crabs like this with 0 food miles?
Darshan Munidasa is Sri Lanka's most renowned chef restaurateur, best known for founding some of Sri Lanka's most successful restaurants, including Ministry of Crab.
How has the recent crises affected your restaurant here?
Oh, it's affected everyone. All this is happening right after a terrorist attack in 2019 April, followed by COVID in 2020 April, and 2 years down the line we arrive at these problems. So it's been 4 years of non-stop. We never got a break.
Has Sri Lanka bottomed out and it's just up from here?
In April of this year, the government of Sri Lanka banned the import of artificial fertilizers, pesticides and weedicides.
2 weeks before I arrived here, Sri Lankan citizens demanded their president to step down. Facing massive protests, President Gotabaya resigned on July 13th.
Now we've got to some point of returning to some kind of normalcy. Fuel is slowly getting into the economy. and hopefully things will get back to normal faster. To an extent, we are also part of the solution. I mean, we have 100 staff working here, and I need to make sure they're also doing okay. And not only them, everyone in the hospitality industry. So I think we need to rebuild and be positive and move forward.
It's inspiring for me to see that so many places around the world, whether they're struggling with politics or natural disasters or many of the onslaught of issues that Sri Lanka has faced, you always just see a huge exodus. And this is the time that you really need people to hang out and to not give up on the country or the people.
Daunting tasks and huge challenges await Sri Lanka's new leader, but at least the evaporated hope of the last regime is now starting to trickle back.
Where are we right now?
We are at Alut Kade. Can you see how busy it is?
It's wild here. I love the mood. I love the feeling. It reminds me of certain other places I've been. I will not say the country's name, but minus the honking.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Abdul Hamid Street, a visceral street food scene in the middle of Columbo City. Locals and outsiders come here for all types of food made fast and on the spot. Our first stop, Usman Tea Road, a 25-year-old restaurant sending out thousands of these bowl-shaped pancakes each night.
This is our first thing we're gonna try right here. What am I looking at?
This is one of the most iconic food from Sri Lanka.
Known as the egg hopper. It starts with a small hot pan, then a thin layer of batter, a blend of rice flour, eggs, sugar, coconut milk, yeast, and cooked basmati rice. Crack an egg on top and season with black pepper.
So how do you eat it though?
And you can fold it and then bite into it.
It rolls up pretty nicely. It's in a very handleable shape.
So this is our own version of a taco.
Of a taco.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sri
pretty
Lankan
much
taco.
exactly like a taco. Oh my God, it's water, bro. That is awesome. It's the easiest way to eat a fried egg with your hands. The shell is so crunchy and just super soft, delicious fried egg in the middle. I love fried eggs more than anything. This is a chutney. Is it spicy? It looks definitely red. Is that too much?
It's up to you.
Goodbye, large intestines. Oh yeah, really salty, but really fresh too. Tons of chilies. I love it. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
But that's fantastic.
Our next stop is a 60-year-old hub, a place where locals flock when they're craving biryani. But this is biryani like you've never seen it before.
To me, typically I would think of biryani as some kind of basmati rice and maybe mutton or some kind of fatty animal, tons of oil, tons of spices. So what does biryani mean to you?
It's a type of rice noodle. We call it biryani
Biryani.
because we have our own version.
First, stir-fry eggs with chilies, tomatoes, and onions. Add rice noodles, fresh milk, gravy, and season with salt, pepper, and chili powder. That is the carb. Now, for the protein, stir-fried slices of marinated beef. Add chopped onions, chilies, curry sauce, ketchup, and lime juice. Plate, serve, and eat.
Oh my God, let's try this out. Well, I've not tried something like this anywhere. It is real spicy. Lots of fresh chilies in there. Oh man. I like how there's a bed of the noodles, the string hopper, and on top of it, fresh tomatoes, fresh chilies, and then there's beef too. Very fresh tasting, surprisingly balanced. This is good street food. How much is it for this whole platter?
Okay, so this is like a special platter, so it comes to about 2,000 rupees.
I think you and I, if we hadn't eaten all day, I think we could take it down.
Oh, easy.
Okay, this right here, I'm very excited for. This is cow brain. Wait, that's not a beef brain.
That is a beef brain.
I think that's a pig brain.
No, it's not.
Cows are so big, their brain has to be bigger than a pig's brain. Did you ask?
Yes.
First, the base. Ghee is introduced to a hot pan. Add chopped onions, red chilies, and green chilies. Then eggs. Add salt, pepper, chili powder, curry powder, milk, roti, chopped carrots, and leeks. Now stir until the roti absorbs all the flavorful sauce. This is the base. Now for the topping. The cooking vessel awaits the arrival of an egg, that cow brains. Add even more flavor with chili powder, curry powder, and salt. Then make it healthy with sliced carrots. Dump that on top of the roti and find a friend to share it with.
We eat this because instead of cheese, this gives that flavor.
Yeah, guys, I don't believe you, but it's got to be better than vegan cheese. So you just break off a little piece, mash it down into the roti, which has been cooked up with all these other seasonings. Let's go for it. That's really good. I can't believe it. I'm not gonna call it cheese, but it is so creamy and it pairs so perfectly with this bread. This reminds me of chilaquiles. In Mexico City, they take tortillas, they douse it with salsa, and then it absorbs all those flavors, and then they put some toppings, you eat it. It's like the Sri Lankan version of that.
Now we have two Mexican connections.
Well, yeah, that was your connection, the egg taco. There's something about this texture with this roti, and it's like soft but chewy at the same time. Hit that with some brain. There's a really distinct differences in taste here. It's light, it's spicy. This is a bit heavier, but I still don't find it to be overly abundant with spices. It's very well balanced.
So this is typical night food. It's after party food. They come here and they eat this, and the next day they'll feel better, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel great tomorrow. You know, it's so wild. There's a few people who I told that I was coming to Sri Lanka, and they're like, oh my God, have you seen the news? And this happens so much to me now that I don't even know what to believe when I'm watching news anymore.
Yeah.
If I was here 1 month ago, would it be a lot different than it is today?
Yes, this place was completely shut down.
And shut down by who?
There was a big protest going on against the ex-regime, so it was just shut down. Nobody was interested because we didn't have gas, we didn't have electricity, we didn't have a way of moving forward with, because they need to buy stuff and we need petroleum to move around, so there was nothing.
So now it's completely different.
Now it's getting better. There's a new leader and there's a little bit of breathing space. I don't know what happened magically, but slowly getting better.
It's not that long ago that there was really like civil unrest within the country.
Yeah.
But now, do you feel like this place seems a bit more unified?
Definitely. I think the recent protests brought everyone together because when hunger strikes, nothing else matters. People need to eat. Food is life. So when that strikes, everyone unified.
Do you think it'll last? I mean, how long until people turn their ire towards something else?
We never know because Sri Lankan people are very innocent, and if you're a very, very smart leader, you can manipulate your masses and your people. So it can happen, it may not happen.
So, no idea.
No idea.
Are you hopeful?
I am hopeful. I hope that people will see through all these games, and not fall for the traps that is being put to divide and conquer.
Fantastic.
Now we're heading inland to the highland city of Kandy. Here, you'll find folks who belong to Sri Lanka's Muslim Malay community, a community with its own distinctive history, culture, and of course, food.
Should we try it out?
We usually don't eat it with our hands.
I don't know what I'm doing.
But life here hasn't always been easy for Muslims.
So I heard recently halal was prohibited, banned. If Muslims don't have a choice, according to the book, what are they supposed to do?
I'm on a mission to experience some extreme halal food.
He just hammered the bone until it shattered into 18 pieces. He made it into a choking hazard.
In a country that's banned halal meat.
I'm very excited this morning because the trains in Sri Lanka are iconic.
Iconic is not the word. When you Google Sri Lanka, you'll see the train.
Well, wouldn't that be iconic?
Columbo Fort Station, in the heart of Colombo, was first built in 1908. It's the oldest, most iconic train station in Sri Lanka. Taking off from here can take you pretty much anywhere you want to go.
The trains were installed by the British when the British was ruling us or colonized us, and it has never changed. The tracks are the same, most of the trains are still the same.
It's never changed. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It works.
It still works.
But we do have newer trains now.
The route from Colombo to the highlands of Kandy is one of the most beautiful in this country. But first,
give me a tour.
We're gonna need snacks.
We've got overcooked omelette with buns. Then we have the onion relish called sini sambal.
That sounds like a vegetarian option.
Yes.
Onion relish and bread. That's a sandwich.
Spicy onion relish.
Oh.
These are fish samosas.
Fish. I've had every type of animal put into a samosa except for fish.
Because we eat a lot of fish.
They have a lot of things here. I think we just grab a few things, we sort it out on the train, and we go. Let's do it.
To the match.
Getting to Kandy from here entails a 3-hour journey. That is, if there aren't any breakdowns or mishaps along the way. But I know there's absolutely nothing that's going to stop this trip from happening.
We are on our way right now to Kandy. Kandy is only about 60 miles away from Colombo, but it takes about 3 hours to get there because of the winding roads. Yes, roads, not train tracks, because I couldn't get on the train today. There is a fuel shortage in this country and all kinds of trains are being canceled. Right, Rosanna?
Yeah.
Sri Lanka's economic crisis means importing fuel has become an incredible challenge. For the average citizen, gassing up their car has become an ordeal that could consume hours of waiting in line. As you can see, it's even affected the train schedule.
If we wanted to go on the train today, what would we have had to do?
Stay in the queue for a very long time, which is like a 50-50 chance as well to buy the ticket.
Fantastic. So instead, what we've done is we've chartered a bus. The silver lining is we still have food. Take a look at that. Maybe don't take a look at that. This is a thin omelet and then literally nothing else. But in general, I'm gonna put that back and save that for an emergency, a bus crash or something, and I'm very hungry. Here, this is what really captivated me. This is a fish samosa. I'm assuming a lot of people in Sri Lanka eat fish.
Fish is the main source of protein and the most respected source of protein.
Ooh, fish, highly respected. My problem is, I grew up in a place without much seafood, central Minnesota, not exactly a maritime destination. So whenever I hear fish, like fish taco, I think of like wet tilapia. When I hear, you can't even really tell there's fish in here. It's meat, but it's also filled with potato, tons of spices, tons of flavors. That's pretty good.
It's a bit cold now, but I still like it.
It has cooled down a bit. This right here is another option. This is basically the same filling, but it has a roti on the outside. Did I say that right?
It's roti.
All right, I thought it had 17 R's. Very satisfying. This is the gas station burrito of Sri Lanka. It's perfect. It's warm, it's spicy, it's full of some stuff where you don't exactly know what it is for sure, and it's just got a really chewy, carby outside. I love it. Right now, we're about 1 hour away from Kandy, where we're gonna be eating something much more substantial. Ruzaina, what are we gonna be eating?
Lots and lots of meat.
Lots and lots of feet.
Meat.
Meat. Sorry, I can't hear you up here. Lots and lots of meat.
Welcome to Kandy.
I heard this place is famous for its bread.
It is.
But what is it about the bread?
Kandy, Sri Lanka is one of the only cities in entire Sri Lanka that has so many bakeries because of the Dutch and English colonization.
But what about kotu?
Kotu is the iconic dish that rules everyone's heart.
Chicken kotu. It's one of this country's most popular street foods. It can be eaten with a variety of meats, but here at Kandian Muslim Hotel, chicken is king. The base comes from godamba roti, sliced up into tiny pieces, then a flavor bar. A combination of chopped herbs and vegetables, chili powder, and eggs.
What I like is that we got the chicken version, and I thought he would like shave the meat off, but he just like hammered the bone until it shattered into 18 pieces. He made it into a choking hazard.
Even the inedible bits add even more to the experience.
Have you ever choked on this?
No.
They brought some gravy here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna smother it.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it out.
Dish, I like it like this, but sometimes I do like the gravy. Don't choke.
There are random hard things in here, but is that a bone shard?
It's a bone.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna get the chicken on the side next time. The best part is that the bread here just soaks it all up immediately. Super flavorful. It reminds me of a curry.
Curry.
Flavor.
Okay, yeah.
So we are right now in a Muslim restaurant.
Yeah.
This country has so many food influences from different people, different countries, different backgrounds, and some of the folks who have influenced Sri Lankan cuisine are the Malay people.
Yeah.
Sri Lankan Malays first settled in this country in the 13th century.
You yourself are Malay?
Yes, I am Malay.
Even though they make up but 0.2% of this country, they still had an impact on its cuisine.
When it comes to New Year, that's the dodol, asnu. So many of these sweets that are celebrated is Malaysian origin. However, we have to remember that when it comes to food, it's a melting pot of different cultures, and that's what makes our food unique. Sri Lankan Malays are mainly Muslim, but you hardly find Malay restaurants.
Why is that?
It's a dying community because they are getting married outside of their culture. Slowly and surely, there will be no more Malays.
Ruzaina has made it her mission to raise awareness about her culture and other minority food in Sri Lanka. That's not always as easy as just heading to a restaurant. Sometimes, the best recipes are locked in the minds of those who learned them from their parents and grandparents.
All right, check it out. Home-cooked Malay food.
Welcome to my core memory.
Situated in the highlands among thick forests, the city of Kandy is one of the oldest in the country. It's home to a big portion of Sri Lankan Malays, including Ruzaina's aunties.
There's only a few people who can actually cook like this. One of them is my grandmother, the other one is this lady here. This is the pittu. You get it in India.
Oh, it'll be extinct here, but not elsewhere.
No, but not this version will be extinct because this is the Sri Lankan Malay pit too.
Oh.
So this is where the influence have mixed and married each other.
Here, Malay cuisine means using homemade ingredients, like roasting wheat flour or making coconut milk from scratch, before using them both for a dish called pitu. Next, unstick the rice by hand, then mix it with roasted wheat flour and shredded coconut before steaming. Using bamboo connected to a pot of water below, the steaming contraption is set.
This looks like I just took it out of a tin can. It's keeping its shape pretty well.
You don't eat it like that, but Sonny can.
I'm adding more layers to the fusion.
Right.
Yeah, I taste the coconut. It's just a little bit salty, and the rice is moist enough to stick together, but not soggy. I'm assuming that's going to mix with the meat.
Exactly. This is called kimus chundi.
Kimus chundi.
This beef is cooked 3 ways. They dehydrate the beef by boiling it with black pepper, chili powder, and rock salt. After boiling, she cooks it a second time by deep frying it. Finally, she stir-fries the beef along with powerful flavors like garlic powder, chili flakes, and pepper.
Lots of aromatics, very fresh tasting. Interesting combination of bold and fresh together. The meat is very bold, tough, chewy, pretty savory, and then there's some really light flavors in there too.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So it's like something like a preserved kind of beef. So we make it and we bottle it. So every time we want some rice and we want something chewy, we just add it into the rice with all the other curries and we eat.
And it kind of gives flavor to the food, right?
Exactly.
I just had literally almost the same thing in Mongolia called shots, except for it was made with horse meat.
Ah,
Have you ever had horse?
no.
Would you be open to it?
If it's halal.
Are there many horses in Sri Lanka?
I'm not going to have horse in Sri Lanka.
But maybe Mongolia.
Yes.
My biggest question upon eating Malay food for the first time here in Sri Lanka is why doesn't this look like any Malay food I've had in Malaysia?
Sri Lankan cuisine is influenced with each other and they're married with each other when it comes to food.
What about this dish?
I would say the Sri Lankan Malay national dish. This is called babat curry. Babat is the stomach part of it.
Right, who cleaned that?
Auntie Doreen.
Okay, I trust her.
To make this dish, Auntie Doreen uses a cow's spleen, then beef intestines, and even tripe. The sliced up offals are seasoned with turmeric powder, coriander powder, chili powder, tamarind, tomatoes, and rock salt. In a pressure cooker, she sizzles some shallots, chilies, curry leaves, and pandan leaves. Layer in even more flavors. Then finally, the organ meats. After just an hour, these awful offcuts become some awesome offals.
Okay, if I'm honest, for me, eating stomach and eating intestines, especially of a cow, it's like Russian roulette.
Why?
So there's a bullet chambered.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is going to be super yummy or super gamey.
You'd be surprised.
I am looking forward to it. Should we try some? Let's go for it. I put the gun to my mouth. I slowly pull the trigger and click.
That's what I was waiting for.
The spices here are so powerful. It blends very well with the natural flavors of those internal organs.
Exactly.
Let's try this intestine.
Cheers.
Oh, you love it, huh? Slimy, chewy,
Fatty.
very fatty, gelatinous, and just full of flavor. It's like this cow ate a delicious curry, and then we ate the cow.
Exactly. Wow. Perfectly said.
Is this a whole style of cooking that's going to be extinct?
It is. It is going to be
gosh.
extinct.
I know in the past there's been some conflicts with different groups in Sri Lanka. Were the Malay ever among those?
Malays are Muslims. So when the Muslims are getting attacked, it's like we are getting attacked.
With a mix of backgrounds like the Sinhalese, Tamils, Moors, and Malays, Sri Lanka has a long history of ethnic conflicts.
Even nowadays, how are Muslims treated differently from anyone else on the island?
Only when there's a election close by.
Most of the country is Buddhist, who traditionally are against animal slaughter, but 10% are Muslim, and they require a specific slaughtering process.
This is the power play of the leadership. It's been working for centuries and it's still working here. Even to this date,
The debate about this halal practice has been on and off for years. This year is no exception.
Sir, put her there.
I'm Fuzzy.
Fuzzy. I like it.
Fuzzy, yeah.
I like that too.
Farzil is a meat seller, offering halal meat in the Kandy Municipal Central Market.
Recently, there's been issues with food imports or food shortages.
Yeah.
Have you been able to stay open every day?
No,
No.
they're closed. Yeah.
With the fuel shortage and political chaos, it's really difficult for them. If not, it's calm.
Oh, so this is not a recent thing. This is a fluid, continuously changing thing.
Depends on who is coming into place.
It's been 2 months since the election, although Farzal is still suffering a supply shortage. The issue of halal meat has faded for now, at least until the next election.
So I heard recently halal was prohibited, banned. The labeling and even separate preparation of halal meats, where the cattle, its throat is slit, the blood is drained. If you can't prepare it the halal way, are you still going to have Muslim customers?
No, you can't do that, no?
If Muslims don't have a choice, according to the book, what are they supposed to do?
Every nationality in Sri Lanka has their own rights. According to our regulations, that they really can't completely ban the whole selling of halal meat.
This is our rights, actually.
That's
A right protected by the government?
Yeah.
Kandy has one of the highest Muslim populations in the nation and plenty of Muslim restaurants. But if it's Malay food you're after, I'm told Auntie Doreen is one of the best around.
Ruzana says you are probably the best Malay food cooker she knows in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, definitely. No.
She said, yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Doreen is the president of the Kandy Malays Association.
How did you get that title?
The reputation came from my grandma, and she makes that pickle every day for the children.
So you had that all the time
All the
growing
time,
up?
yeah.
She occasionally cooks for large groups in her community, and she comes well equipped. Today she's cooking up the greatest hits of Sri Lankan Malay food. It starts with oxtail. Auntie Doreen's friend, Miss Muna, is here to help. First, fry shallots, curry leaves, garlic paste, ginger paste, tomatoes, and local fresh chilies. Add chili flakes, coriander powder, black pepper, tamarind, and finally, big chopped medallions of oxtail.
How long does it take inside the pressure cooker?
Normal cooking, it takes 2 hours. The pressure cooker takes just half an hour.
Ladies, terima kasih. This looks incredible. This is definitely home-cooked food made with love. Can you point to each thing? I don't even know if I recognize rice.
Yes, that's right.
But there's something in there we want you to try and then guess what
Guess
it is.
what it is.
There's something hidden inside, like a prize inside a box of cereal.
No, the taste.
Oh, I thought there was going to be like an action figure inside.
Do you want an action figure?
I kind of do now. This is the feet, vegetables.
Vegetables with another surprise in there.
Action figure.
No.
Yeah. No.
And then from here, tongue.
Tongue, yeah.
That looks very dense.
And that's the oxtail.
The tail, right. Oh my gosh. These are all my favorite offcuts here. Here we have the tail.
This kind of soup you will not find anywhere except in a Malay household.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's so nice. It's so buttery, rich, and just a load of cumin, which I haven't tasted in abundance in many of the dishes yet so far. This is very powerful, very delicious.
This soup is so good, especially when the weather is cold and you're feeling a little sick, right?
Do you have any trouble getting meat in the last few months?
Not exactly, no? But when there was no petrol and diesel in the country, there was no transport for them to bring the beef curry from anywhere.
And how long did that last?
1 or 2 months.
Did you have any backup food?
We were okay because we eat all 3 meals, but the poorer people, they didn't have anything to eat.
Right.
So our duty was to help them out.
And how'd you do that?
In particular, I asked them, I called them, and then I just say, you come to Kage, this food city or something like that.
Incredible. This, I can't get over this. It's just a very thick broth. You'd see all the collagen from the tail is kind of leaked out into it. And there's a great lingering spice that just hangs out in your chest and makes you feel warm, like taking a shot of whiskey.
We should have had a bottle here.
In every Muslim community, there are people who drink. But our community is open about it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't hide it.
I take liquor.
Yeah, I'll take a liquor any day of the week.
Not that I get drunk, but I just...
No, I would, well, yeah, I have gotten drunk once or twice. What should we try next?
Fry shallots, curry leaves, pandan leaves, garlic paste, ginger paste, and pepper. Add glorious beef tongue along with tomatoes and let it steam in the pressure cooker.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
What you see here is a typical meal that we have. We have very less vegetables.
Oh wow. All right, let's try it out.
You like?
Wow. That is some of the best tongue I've ever had in my life. You are an amazing cook.
What did I tell you?
Really, I'm blown away. It is a texture like no other because sometimes the stewed beef, it can get really broken down. It's soft, but it's maintained some of that texture of the tongue, so it's not just completely falling off. It's just right in the middle. Oh, it's so good. When I was a kid, one time my dad bought a cow tongue. I think he was trying to freak me out, like, hey, look at this. And I was just like, ew, gross, like a typical kid from Minnesota. I didn't know that that could be delicious. And now it's one of my favorite things. All of these offcuts are things I would not have appreciated when I was younger, and now I really do.
For our final dish, fried shallots, pandan leaves, fresh chilies, and curry leaves. Add dill seed, ginger paste, garlic paste, and chili powder before tossing in the cow feet.
Super savory, tender, gelatinous, gooey, low sticky. Everything has like the perfect level of spice. It's just humming in my mouth. Keep me warm, but not painful.
According to the guest, that is the way we cook. I cook. I don't think he would like very spicy.
Casual racism. Yes, I've been microaggressed. Why is it so important to you to show me Malay food?
It's all about acceptance. We have given so much to Sri Lanka. From the clothing industry to the music and dance industry to the food, they have accepted all that. But every time something goes wrong, we have felt like outsiders. So it's important for me to show that this is our culture, this is who we are here to stay, we are Sri Lankans.
This is our country. We are Sri Lankans. That's it.
One of the things that strikes me about this food is that it's not national food. It's a mixture of different cultures and different backgrounds, and of course local geography too, local ingredients. At this time, it just sounds like the tradition's being preserved by people who still cook the food. Have you taught your kids how to cook this?
Yes.
That's fantastic. I think as long as people are alive to taste it, it'll keep being passed on. Because why would you not want to preserve this?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes.
You would have to be insane.
Now, I'm on a mission to experience the life and diet of Sri Lanka's Veda people. But long ago, far before any outsider stepped foot on this island, there were the Veda, the earliest inhabitants of this land.
No. He's telling you right now, hey, don't eat it. It's not sushi. Yeah, don't worry. I wasn't even tempted.
Though many Veda ways of life have faded over time.
Everything here is all about efficiency.
If you look hard enough,
I can't wait to try this out.
Deep in the hidden recesses of Sri Lanka,
oh gosh,
you can still find people living now.
Yeah, we're gonna get ripped?
Like they did long ago.
They created this tripod. Off with the tripod. He's trying to adjust with the flow of the wind. Good morning. Today we are in the center of Sri Lanka and we've traveled far to this remote area so I can meet the Veda people. They are behind me right now.
This hunter-gatherer tribe finds shelter in natural structures like this cave, and they've mastered the art of pyrotechnics. With this historically priceless skill, they're able to cook up a traditional tea with cooling effects and digestive benefits. I'm intrigued, I'm hungry, and I'm inviting myself over for breakfast.
Wow, look at this. 5 gentlemen here. Hello?
Hondabai. Mama kacak Hondabai. Mama kacak.
Mama kacak on the mic. Oh. Hondabai. Wow, they grab both my hands. It's very alpha. Mama kacak on the mic.
Soon, today's hunt will begin. A hunt which could last minutes or hours, depending on which unfortunate animal crosses their path in this vast jungle. But before that, it's important to get in the right headspace, like when you have your morning cup of coffee.
Everybody is chewing the betel nut. Everyone has their mouth, lips, and teeth stained red. One thing I love about humans is no matter where you go, people will find some kind of way to get high. We have to. The pain of existence is just too much. So he peels the husk off of the betel nut. Why do you chew betel nut? He's saying it's the equivalent of a cigarette. It's essentially a stimulant that makes him feel a little lighter, a little better. So he's mashing this. He has like a mini mortar and pestle.
When combined with enhancers and catalysts, betel nut produces stimulant effects.
Oh. Turns out it's for him all along. I mean, I thought it was gonna be like a welcoming gift or something. He's like, welcome to my home. Let me show you me doing drugs.
Since I'm already quite stimulated, I think I'll just settle for some tea.
Thank you. This looks like a sugar cube. Maybe they make it from honey, or maybe they got it from the store. Very nice, tastes like pure sugar. I enjoy that. The tea itself tastes woody and very earthy. I'm down with it. Very nice.
With newfound energy, the men get to work. Forget rifles, forget shotguns. Here, the Veda hunt with bow, arrows, and axes. Weapons optimized for weight, speed, and silence. This lifestyle doesn't come with the luxury of being picky about one's food options. The Veda diet is meat-heavy, and this jungle offers a wide range of potential proteins, including that from wild boar, iguanas, and monkeys. Right now, they've spotted an animal I've never thought of as a potential meal. This is a native peacock species, and hunting it is strictly banned for everyone except the Veda. Aside from their obvious, majestic, natural beauty, the peacock is also a rich source of protein and nutrition. The Veda have great respect for nature, so they hunt under a strict code. They never kill animals that are pregnant, feeding their offspring, playing, sleeping, or drinking. With our bird in tow, the hunting party heads deeper into the shade of the jungle to prepare a 3-course meal like I've never seen before.
This is a male peacock. I'm told they don't usually prefer to eat the male because the male is going to be extremely tough. So we're going to try it out, see how it tastes, and go from there. Right now they are building a fire. It looks like he's got some flint. He's going to use that to put a spark on this kindling. Oh, interesting. So he rolls it in what looks like a very thin fabric. Oh, this is amazing. So he's blowing on that. That's catching on fire, smoking like crazy, and I think he's gonna put that on the stick soon.
The fire is built and ready for today's cook, but first, the bird must be cleaned.
Right now, they're gonna take the feathers off the bird, and this is a technique I've never seen before. I've always seen hot water being used, but instead of heating up water, they're just gonna heat up the bird directly right over the flame. It smells like what you think it smells like. It kind of smells like burnt hair. Now is the next step. He's not taking off the skin, but he is scraping off the feathers. Everything that's charred just comes off the body very quickly. You can see everything here is all about efficiency, just getting it done as effectively as possible. So now that the bird is completely singed, it really does not look any different from a small turkey. Maybe a little more slender. They've cut the whole thing open. Huge gizzard on peacocks, evidently. He's sticking his hands deep inside. He's pulling out this fat from the butt area.
Peacocks are believed to possess unique health benefits. The eyes from its fan can be made into an antidote for rat bites. Burnt feathers can be turned into medicine to treat extreme headaches, or even worse, impotence. Then there's this part.
Now this is the largest posterior I have seen on any bird.
The Veda melted the peacock's posterior under the sun. The rendered fat is used to treat arthritis and gout.
No. He's telling me right now, hey, don't eat it. It's not sushi. Yeah, don't worry. I wasn't even tempted.
With the peacock ready, they prepare our cooking implements.
As far as I understand, today we're cooking this peacock in 3 different ways. The first way is right here.
Chunks of peacock are draped and grilled as is. No barbecue sauce, no MSG, not even salt.
What I think is absolutely brilliant is that using products from Mother Nature, they created this tripod. Off with the tripod. He's trying to adjust with the flow of the wind. What I love is that in just a few minutes, they created this perfect grilling device. One-time use, completely biodegradable. In addition to this, right here are other peacock preparation. This is, I would say, more of a peacock stew.
The making of this dish begins here at the riverbank, where they have a unique way to extract clean water. First, he digs a crater and removes all the water from inside. Over time, water flows back into this bowl, only this time it's been filtered by the sand. The result? Clean and clear mineral water. Bite-sized chunks of peacock and water head into a pot. Now, the seasonings. Salt, chili powder, and pepper. Mix well and apply heat.
This is obviously more modern day cooking. 50 years ago, they probably wouldn't be boiling food in pots like this, but today it's basically impossible to not have influence from the outside world. So we have a little bit of the traditional and a little bit of the modern today too.
Add lemon juice to brighten the flavor. Then add flour to make it thick. If you're following along at home, feel free to substitute chicken for peacock. To pair with our protein, tulipa, a local carbohydrate that combines wheat flour and boiling water until the mixture becomes doughy. The food is cooked, but we can't eat just yet.
I'm told that first they offer the food to the spirits of the forest.
The Veda believe that the spirits of their ancestors dwell in this jungle, protecting them, helping them hunt. So these spirits are invited to the meal and offered the first bite.
On the side here, they have something that reminds me of ugali, like in Tanzania, but the texture is very different, not nearly as sticky. It's kind of chewy and semi-solid. The texture has a granular nature at times. I believe that is sand. Otherwise, very nice. So I've got some meat here. Peacocks look beautiful, taste beautiful. I was told it was gonna be like a stone. This is like a soft stone. This is like a stone that's been stewing for some time. This is certainly very, very dense meat, but the flavors are outstanding. It's spicy, it's salty, and I'm really impressed overall. Yeah, we're gonna get ripped? You're saying the meat will help put meat on your bones as well, which is good to know. I'm trying to get ripped out here in the jungle.
Next on the menu, grilled peacock. Half is eaten now, and half is preserved using a method I have never seen before. First, they slice it into smaller pieces. To preserve the meat, it's saturated in wild honey. The acquisition of honey requires expert-level observations of nature and a lot of patience. A search for honey could take days.
You will often see them looking up in the trees, and you wonder what they're looking for. They're looking for hives, they're looking for honeycombs.
Once it's found, they ascend any tree necessary to collect it. Getting stung is just part of the job, and absolutely worth it.
Delicious. Very nice.
Now, fully cover the meat's surface with honey. The honey's high sugar concentration extracts water from bacteria that, if left hydrated, would spoil the meat.
And I'm told once it's coated in honey, they can keep it for up to a month, which is incredible because they definitely do not have Samsung refrigerators out here. Okay, right here, the straight up grilled peacock. I gotta say, male peacock, it's all show. No flavor. Granted, this is a more lean part of the animal. I mean, it's slightly charred and smoky just from the way they cooked it, but really not much flavor. Do you wanna try some? I feel like he's pandering to me at this point. This one is the honey version. This one is completely soaked in honey, the preserved type. They are gonna be eating this peacock 1 month from now. Let's try it out. Honey here is like no honey I've ever had before. I know it's not fake honey. It just tastes like a different type of sweetness. Similar texture, kind of just like a tough, dried chicken breast. I like it, very good.
Honda mai.
Honda mai! Oh, we found Mark Wien's match. Look at that yummy face. Honda mai.
Honda mai.
Honda mai.
Honda mai.
Honda mai.
Honda mai.
Power!
Mama katak Honda mai.
Mama katak mai.
Honda mai.
Honda mai. People should do that more often. Oh my God, people in your cubicles at your corporate jobs, just scream once in a while. I know you do it already in the pillow and sometimes in the bathroom, but just in the office with your coworkers, feels good.
After the meal, in lieu of a digestif, they have even more betel nut. First, peel and crush the betel nut. Now, I don't know how prehistoric man figured this out.
All right, good snail shell placement.
But burn an empty, dry snail shell. This transforms the shell into calcium hydroxide, which becomes a paste after adding water. This becomes a catalyst that cranks up the betel nut's effects to 11.
I can't wait to try this out. Am I gonna puke like when I had chewing tobacco when I was 15?
Finally, combine the paste, the betel leaf, and the betel nut.
Oh, it's happening.
And enjoy your mastication.
It smells like chlorophyll, like fresh leaves.
All we've witnessed today are the last remaining Veda practices still clinging to existence.
It's so tart, it makes your mouth so dry immediately. I can feel like a little tightness in my chest, slight paranoia, and I feel like I'm late for a job interview. Is that how you feel?
Honda mai.
Against the convenience of modern life and opposed by government regulations, the Veda culture struggles to persist. Soon, it'll live only in books, museums, and footage like this.
He wants you to stay happy no matter what, like even if you have kids or not.
Thank you so much. But I can have kids. I think he's praying for me, but the only issue is he thinks I'm impotent. Thank you.
Our cross-country Sri Lankan road trip has taken us from Kandy to the northernmost region, where you'll find the city of Jaffna. Here, you'll see the greatest concentration of Tamil people in the country, a community that takes up 11% of Sri Lanka.
What is going on here?
Biggest festival of Jaffna.
And longest, I heard.
I'm on a mission to discover the unique food Tamil traditions have brought to this country.
Is that a bad idea?
Guru Nagar Market. It's the busiest and most prominent fish market on the Jaffna Peninsula.
Smells a bit fishy here.
Of course, it's a fish market.
Oh, okay.
We're here to pick up some freshly caught seafood for breakfast, and maybe even make friends with some exotic creatures like this.
It looks like a puffer fish.
It is a pufferfish.
Pufferfish are infamous for their tetrodotoxin, which 20 minutes after consumption can kill a grown man, or even someone like me.
Is that yummy?
We don't eat it here in Sri Lanka because Sri Lankans don't know how to clean it properly.
Ah.
My guide for all things Sri Lankan cuisine, Ruzena. Joining us, Jaffna local, Joseph.
When is the last time you were here?
2 weeks before.
I assume that with all the seafood here, you have more than enough for the people here.
Yes, they are exporting it to south.
Besides being a key seafood supplier to much of Sri Lanka, Jaffna stands alone as the cradle of Sri Lankan Tamils.
So it seems the majority of Tamil people here are Hindu, right?
90% are Hindus.
Separate from the Indian Tamils, who were brought to this country during British rule, the Sri Lankan Tamils have resided here since the 2nd century BC.
There's also a big Christian population here too.
The Portuguese first and the Dutch came in, and then they converted most of the Hindu Tamils.
Are you yourself Christian?
Catholic.
So we're going to go to your house shortly, and we're going to be cooking up some different dishes. Is this food that you grew up with?
Yes.
Hi. Again. Your wife made all this food, right?
That's right.
Do you get to eat like this every day?
One item, not all.
So these are the hoppers, right?
Yes, but this is the Jaffna version of it.
Rice flour, sugar, egg, salt, and coconut milk blend into a mix to create this native Sri Lankan dish. Coat the bottom of a small wok with a thin layer of silky liquid. Then a bonus shot of coconut milk. In a few minutes, you'll have an alluring, milky hopper that goes perfectly with anything on the table.
So is this the shrimp?
No, that is the coconut sambal.
To make this beloved Sri Lankan dish, simply mix and mash onions, curry leaves, chili powder, and loads of scraped coconut.
Oh, this is outstanding. There's like the coconut crepe, that soft center, and then this is just really spicy. But it's interesting how, because it's like a shredded coconut, but it's absorbed all the spice. Coconut overload.
Sri Lankan Tamil cuisine is a melting pot of Indian cuisine, colonial influence, and foreign traders' taste. In Jaffna, for those who eat protein, seafood is the go-to choice. The cuttlefish from the market is cut into rings. The layers of flavor begin with fennel seed, fenugreek, and garlic in coconut oil. Then curry leaves, onion, and green chilies. Finally, the cuttlefish. It cooks and combines with even more flavors before finally hitting the table.
I'm gonna try this cuttlefish alone. It looks just like squid, but maybe it's more crunchy. That's delicious. What spices are on here?
There's Jaffna curry powder.
And how is Jaffna curry powder different from other curry powders?
In the south, they don't use the cloves specifically in their curry powder, but there's cinnamon. Here, everything is there, but there's a little bit extra cloves and extra chili powder.
Yeah, I taste the chili powder. It's really spicy.
With a rich Tamil culture of food, temples, and festivals, Jaffna is worth the visit to travelers who are willing to make the long journey here by car or train.
This building behind you, was that your inn before?
Yes.
When did you build an inn here?
After the peace talk in 2002.
For over 2 decades, Sri Lanka suffered through a civil war that killed over 100,000 people. With the war finally ending in 2009, tourism started to thrive.
So I thought of renovating my house with the minimum facilities. Laundry planner, they came and inspected everywhere in Jaffna. My inn was selected as top choice.
As Sri Lanka gained its spot on the world tourism map, so did its cuisine.
I thought this was just a plate of noodles, but they've kind of like individual pancake portions.
This is hopper, that is string hopper.
String hopper.
Rice flour, water, and salt form a dough.
Why is it pink purplish?
Because of the rice.
That dough is squeezed through a string-making extruder. After a 5-minute steam, they're ready.
How do you eat this?
What we do is we stack about 2-3 together. That's right.
All right, so get it soaked with all this coconut broth.
This is a shrimp curry. Our fresh market shrimps join a curry soup made with coconut milk, green chilies, onions, liquid salt, turmeric powder, squeezed tomatoes, and lemon juice.
I've got vermicelli pancake. Inside, I have a shrimp wrapped up. I have some of that sambal.
And then before you know it, it's already down your throat.
It's good. Those noodles really do a good job of soaking up this sauce. And that's really incredible. Not too hot. I think the cuttlefish is the hottest by far. What's your favorite thing here?
Crab.
Crab.
That is also hot.
I can handle it. It makes me feel like I'm cleansing my insides, my impurities.
Blue crabs are cleaned, portioned, then immersed in coconut milk. Add tamarind juice, Jaffna curry powder, onion, curry leaves, and ginger garlic paste.
The crab, how do you eat the crab?
We just put the big finger here.
And he kind of squeezes out the meat. When you do that, do you get some of the cartilage in there too?
No.
No, it's a technique.
It's a good technique. So I've got my meat. How's that look? Pretty good?
Just got it.
It's like, yeah, why are you asking me? How much validation do you need? It's very nice. It's really a spicy, almost paste enveloping that crab. I got a pretty decent dose of meat there, and it's very nice with the noodles. It just helps it go down.
Can you feel the difference of the robust flavors in this curry?
Yeah.
Jaffna is where crab curry was initially born.
So Jaffna has just been up and down more than anywhere else in Sri Lanka, right? When it comes to tourism?
Yes.
In 2019, Sri Lanka earned 12% of its GDP through tourism. But after a civil war, domestic terrorism, a pandemic, and now an economic collapse, those tourism numbers have been decimated. And perhaps no place is feeling the pinch more than this remote city of Jaffna.
Europeans come, they just roam in Columbo and other places and they go.
What is the state of tourism now in Jaffna?
Almost minus.
Minus.
No fuel, so they can't come.
Whether outsiders come to see it or not, holy festivals continue without pause as they have for generations. And with enormous events, always comes impressive feasts.
Welcome to the kitchen. This morning we got our dose of protein and now it's time for the veggies. And that is because right now we are in a Hindu restaurant. People are going to be coming to this restaurant soon after the event that is coming up shortly.
This is the 25-day-long Nallur Festival. Without the usual tourist crowd, Jaffna streets are still flooded with thousands of Hindu Tamils from all over the country. After the ceremony, they'll be flowing into Tamil restaurants in search of this.
We've got two foods right here. This is a kuruma. Here we got spices, potatoes, peas, lots of, well, vegetables. We've got sambar, we're gonna have dosa, we're gonna have rice, lots of feasting. But first,
the 20th day of the Nallur Festival has begun. Every July July to September, this festival honors Lord Murugan, the Hindu god of war and the god of the Tamil people.
Have you been going to this festival since you were a kid?
Yeah.
Neelan, whose restaurant we'll be trying soon, is taking a break from the kitchen to walk me through this epic event. Each evening before sunset, a different, unique altar is strenuously carried around the Nalur Kovil temple.
I can't help but notice there's so many people here who have a lump on the back of their neck. What is the lump?
So it's like a form of saying that the god is sitting on your back. The bigger the lump, that means you carried it for longer. And then they keep it like that in a way to show that they're proud of what they've done.
But how do you make a lump like that?
I have no idea.
Dying to learn more about these mysterious neck lumps, I try approaching some of the men.
Can I shake your hand?
But just like girls in my high school,
can you come here?
They all refuse my advances.
Oh.
1 minute.
Neelan has managed to persuade one of the devotees, but there's a catch.
He wants you to remove the shirt.
But I don't know where to put my mic.
Turns out, as a sign of respect, any male from the age of 3 cannot dress above the waist, and doing so could cause great offense.
Where do I put this? Right here? Hi, hello sir. How are you doing? Feel good? Can I ask you, how did you get this? The bigger weight. Holding the weight.
They had a big bamboo pull on the nail.
The accepted lore here is that these curious neck lumps develop over time and are the result of carrying heavy loads during this festival. I happen to think they're more likely the result of synthol or oil injections. I can't prove this, but I do know whenever a physical attribute becomes a symbol of status, some folks will take a shortcut to obtaining it, kind of like my hair transplant. After the altar rounds its third corner, I take off to the restaurant to beat the post-ritual rush.
Are you the mind behind this menu?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should try the dosa because it can lose its crunch.
Dosa. It starts with a fermented batter of lentils, rice, salt, and sugar, all spread thinly over a hot flat top. Slather it with a complex paste of mashed potato, chili powder, curry powder, onions, garlic, cumin seeds, and curry leaves.
Even plain is quite good.
Then you can dip it in your chutney.
Really crispy dosa, which has its own yummy masala. The chutney is full of coconut flavor and super spicy. It is just a combination that you just don't really get where I come from. This is a koruma.
Kuruma.
No koruma?
A symphony of flavor. Cinnamon, nutmeg, star anise, onions, lemongrass, green chilies, tomatoes, garlic, fennel seeds, and mustard seeds come together in hot oil. Then pandan and curry leaves, then chickpeas, potatoes, carrots, and green beans.
The spices are different. I like that it's not mushy, so it has some good texture. And you know, some places you go to, all the food just tastes the same. It's distinctly different from what's inside the dosa and from the chutney as well. For you, what spice comes out the most?
I'm getting a lot of like cinnamon, cumin, and star anise and nutmeg.
So you're vegetarian. How old were you when you started being vegetarian?
Since birth.
You've never had meat?
Yeah.
Ever in your life?
Like most religions, the Hindu Tamils and Christian Tamils' beliefs are reflected in their diets. For the Christians, pretty much anything is fair game. For the Hindus, this means no meat.
Why is it important to you to not eat meat?
His family is very involved with the temple, so they don't eat meat, you know. It's a form of respect to the animal.
Is it more like a high respect or like actual worship?
Worship and respect.
Both. So we've tried the kuruma. What is this one called again?
Chili paratha.
Chili paratha. It's an advanced version of the more familiar roti paratha. Roti dough is grilled as usual, then deep fried and cut into squares. On the griddle, toss on chopped onions, green chilies, and tomatoes. Then the roti, finished with a handful of chili powder and extra heat from the chili sauce. This is just one portion of the over 300 they serve each night.
And I can eat it with a fork?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Fried flatbread, doused in chili.
Spicy. I gotta say, I love meat, but this is very satisfying. Feels full of flavor. It is sweet, sour, and spicy all at the same time. There's fresh onions. What's this?
Capsicum and green chilies. And there's chili flakes in there.
Is that a bad idea?
You already wet.
All right, might as well. That was a mistake. Uh-oh. Sometimes carnivores in the USA, when they hear about the vegetarian diet, they either picture a loaf of bread or a salad, and it sounds boring. But it's when you come to places like this where you go, maybe I could do this, at least for one meal. It would seem that an event like this, it is such a spectacle, it's so fascinating, so interesting. I would think tourists would want to come to see this, right?
Usually, a lot of people came here at the moment, festival time. But last 4 years, many people did not come because of the bomb blasts and corona effect. This year also, economical collapse.
I wanted to ask you this whole time. In 2019, Lonely Planet named Sri Lanka like the #1 tourist destination. And then now it's like, I mean, Sri Lanka has fallen so far from that point. Can it ever get back there?
Sri Lanka is a magical island. I always kept saying this because it is. We've got beautiful beaches, we've got beautiful landscape, we've got beautiful estates, and if you want the beach and hot weather, you come here. If you want really nice cool weather, you go to the central province. And we are resilient people. We've been through 30 years of civil war, we've been through bomb blasts, we've been through an economic crisis, we've been through the rut, but we still keep, coming back again and again and again. So we've got like everything here. All we need is a simple plan from the leadership, and we'll get back to it in no time.
It's true?
That's true.
Let's go wide. Guys, that is the end of our Sri Lanka series, 4 videos, and my gosh, what an adventure, all the way from Columbo to Kandy to somewhere in the middle of nowhere, up here to Jaffna, and I gotta say a huge thank you to you for making this trip happen, for coordinating, for connecting us with people, for researching, everything you did for the series. Thank you so much.
I should be thanking you for coming to Sri Lanka at
Absolutely.
this time. It wasn't the easiest, and it wasn't the easiest for you to go through the economic crisis with us. But you're here, and thank you so much, because this is going to help Sri Lankan tourism like nothing, like crazy.
It is my absolute pleasure. That is it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace. Did you think like a hidden menu with meat on it here?